To conclude, regardless of how you feel about the sequel, one thing for sure is these two games will live on in our memories till our dying days. Because they left that much of an impression. For better or for worse, taking into consideration the sequel. A simple, linear, story-driven game that managed to do a lot with a novel idea for zombies. And before you say anything about them being infected, shout out to those who know what reference that is, that's just another variant of zombies to me. Look, before anybody asks me about this, I understand there's this whole debate around whether or not infected are considered zombies within the zombie community. The primary point from those arguing against infected being considered zombies is that they're not walking corpses according to the original definition of the very word zombie. To that I must say, please don't argue with me about semantics, because I will go hard on you with that. And when it comes to the debate around what is considered a zombie, I notice that people like to cherry pick the variables within the very definition of the word zombie, like that it is a walking corpse with no thoughts or soul or sense of humanity whatsoever. And depending on the dictionary you look it up in, it may also add it may also add that they are under the control of a master. But the most important detail that I want to highlight is that typically the corpses will be raised via voodoo magic. Now, I believe there are circumstances where some definitions will just say magic and not specify what type. But for the original definition, given the origins of the very word zombie, it is specifically a corpse risen via voodoo magic. Now, for those of you who like to argue about what zombies count as, well, zombies, I want you to list me a specific zombie type from any franchise, whether it be a video game, TV show, film, doesn't matter, where the zombies are risen by voodoo magic. With the exception of that one film called White Zombie, because I feel like it would be too obvious, and that's the most notable film of zombies being risen via voodoo magic, and where the term zombie would have been popularized in any sort of media whatsoever. I'm going to bet you can't, because the most zombies you can think of are typically risen by a virus. And I'm sorry to say this to my fellow zombie fans, but if it's risen by a virus and not voodoo magic, or at the very least magic of some sorts, then that doesn't count either by the very semantics of the word. And not to mention that typically within most zombie media that include a virus, the zombies don't have a master in control of them, unless maybe you include the virus itself as a master, which is very questionable. Needless to say, that in my eyes, they're just another variant of zombies. Not to mention, the general concept and culture around zombies has evolved a lot since its original definition and media presence in White Zombie or even Night of the Living Dead. And the only zombie type of creatures in recent decades that managed to popularize a fungal-based zombie-like infected since the flood from Halo. What's going on, people of the internet? Hyperchaotic here with a K, double R, and welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time visiting my channel. Now, I've been meaning to do this video for quite a while now, and since I kind of got it started a little bit in the conclusion of my previous video going over the Last of Us video games, I decided to take that segment of that video, put it in this one, and just extend my points on that. That way I can explain once and for all why they should all count or none of them should count. What I mean by that is what is considered a zombie in general, zombie media. They should all count across the board, or if we're going by the original definition, none of them should. Really quickly though, if you do want to see that video, it will be linked in the description down below. iCard, end card for those of you on YouTube. Shout out to those watching on the alternative platforms. And for those of you interested in the alternative platforms I'm on, they will also be linked in the description down below. Anyways, in that previous clip, I went over different variables that may or may not be in the definition of the word zombie depending on where you look it up in. Because, surprise, surprise, words and meanings in general language evolve over time and words can gain new meaning. Hell, when it comes to the English language, it's made up of so many words from freaking German and French and even French Haitian Creole. AKA, like the word zombie, which was originally pronounced Zonbi. No, I'm not saying the same thing. In original Haitian culture, it's spelled Zonbi, whereas the English variant, when that word was adopted, is Zombie. And when it comes to the flat original definition of what a zombie is, it's just an undead corpse risen via voodoo magic that most likely will have a master, because according to Haitian culture, it's really just supposed to be an undead slave. That's it and that's all. And it never said anything about them craving flesh or brains. We got those ideas for what a zombie is supposed to be, part of what a zombie is, from the media we consume within the zombie genre. Like Night of the Living Dead that I mentioned in that clip, for example. I specifically mentioned that film because that's where the whole concept of zombies eating flesh comes from. Night of the Living Dead. Otherwise, they should be more like what is featured in White Zombie. Undead servants. It is because of the media we consume and their concepts that we adapted into zombie culture being the very reasons why we think of these things as being part of zombies. Or with zombies craving brains. That idea originates from the film Return of the Living Dead, which was a parody spin on the original Night of the Living Dead. And as for the infected type, well, you probably already have an idea where that originates from. The film, 28 Days Later, and of course its sequel, 28 Weeks Later, and the game Left 4 Dead, which have very similar infected if you look deeper into them. Now, I know some people are going to say, but 28 Days Later actually doesn't count, even though it is within the zombie genre, because the original creator said so. No. You do not get to make something within this genre and say it's not that. It doesn't work like that. Does it walk like a duck? Does it quack like a duck? Then I think it's a fucking duck. Especially when similar types of infected, like from Left 4 Dead, literally fucking count. Not only by the creators, but even the characters within the universe. And hell, nowadays, if somebody's in a drug-like state where it seems like they don't even have a sense of awareness or self anymore, we'll literally call them a zombie. A zombie-like drug state. Or if we feel sluggish and we can't really think for ourselves because we're so fucking tired and we're just moving around doing what we do about our day because we're like in an automated mode, we'll probably say we feel like a zombie. The term zombie has evolved a lot thanks to our media. So as far as I'm concerned, either they should all count across the board thanks to the evolution of what a zombie is from our media, or none of them should count across the board unless they're anything like the zombies from the film White Zombie, which properly depicts what a zombie was originally supposed to be. No virus, no cravings of flesh or human brains, just an undead slave. And heck, even if we wanted to go by some slightly modern definitions and drop voodoo magic and just make it magic across the board, the only zombies in any sort of zombie media that would count that I can think of right off the top of my head would be the White Walkers from Game of Thrones and the zombies from Call of Duty Zombies. Yes, they're technically risen via magic. I know the characters use some scientific, experiments to raise them, but they do get into a little bit of alchemy, and it's revealed later in COD Zombies lore that Element 115 and the ether, where it comes from, may be the origins of all magic within the universe and on Earth. So voodoo magic may have originated from Element 115 and other magical sources within that universe. Thus, because it is magic, and thus, according to the lore, all magic originates from 115 or whatever, and that may include voodoo magic, that means the zombies from COD Zombies absolutely count as zombies by the original fucking definition. And according to the lore, they actually don't even crave flesh or brains. They do bite as means of attack, but not means of infection. And that's only if you're going by the lore, because they very rarely ever do that in the gameplay. The only time I've ever seen zombies bite within the gameplay was that one zombies event for Warzone a while ago. But they technically do bite as a means of attack. It's just not supposed to be a means of infection. Typically. And even for the infected type, chances are they still bite as a means of attack or infection. They're just not going to crave flesh. Maybe. If you look within zombie media, there are versions of infected, of alive sick people that actually do crave flesh, but they are few and far in between. Usually they just bite as a means of attack and infection. Alright then, that's pretty much all I have for this topic today. So for those of you who like to argue about semantics of what a zombie is, please stop cherry picking, because you're also wrong. So let's stop having this dumbass debate and just leave it at that. Either they all count, or none of them do. By the very definition. Without picking and choosing any variables. Because that's not how semantics work. You do not get to play the game of semantics and choose the semantics that fit your narrative and ignore the rest. Alright, then y'all leave a like if you've enjoyed. If not, leave a dislike and a comment telling me why, because any and all interaction is good interaction for my channel and the algorithm, and any and all criticism can help me get better. And tell me, what are your personal thoughts on this matter? Do you think infected should count as zombies or not? And are you going based off of the original definition? I've already explained to you why you shouldn't, but I do want to hear people's personal opinions and reasonings. And if you did change your mind because of my video and did used to think that by the very definition only the undead should count and are understanding why you're wrong, well, good, but feel free to talk to me about your previous stances if you want to do so, even if you don't agree with it anymore. Now, right before I end this video, I actually want to recommend 2 videos related to this matter that actually inspired me to make this video. The first one being a video from WowSuchGaming going over zombies and zombie media and what a zombie is, which originally inspired me to make this video. And a video from the creator, Captain Go, a video called Zombies for Dummies. Now, that video, for starters, it kind of pushed me to make this video already, because he already beat me to this topic. And compared to my video, this video, it's a shorter video that gets straight to the point. So if you want to show this video to a friend and their attention span is too short, then I highly recommend that video. It's pretty much the same shit that I'm saying, but shorter and straight to the point, because I purposely wanted to extend my point to go over these additional variables and why we consider what a zombie is today thanks to the evolution from its media. And one last thing before I go, because I almost forgot about this while recording. This video will be uploaded on Christmas Day or Eve. I think it's most likely going to be Christmas Day. But whichever one it is, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a Happy New Year. Subscribe to add a little dose of chaos in your life, unless you're on YouTube. Please don't. It doesn't function right. And if you're a dead subscriber, that can hurt a creator in the channel. If you're not going to watch my videos on a semi-regular basis, or at least every now and then, please just check up on me. Don't subscribe. I'm not saying that as a personal attack. It literally hurts creators if you subscribe and don't watch. It does. It's better that you just watch and don't subscribe than if you subscribe and don't watch. I'm not joking. By the way, to those who are expecting my video giving my personal thoughts on The Last of Us Left Behind DLC, I'm going to do that in the next following video. But since I lightly covered this topic in that previous video, I really wanted to make this separate video just on that in of itself, since that's something that's been on my plate for a while that I've been meaning to get off. And one last time, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, have a Happy New Year, and thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Even if you didn't enjoy it, I really do appreciate your time and giving me a chance. HK out, and have a good one.